Malvern Hills District Council have got a commitment to strong and resilient and sustainable communities. What we're looking to do is embed asset-based community development, which is an adoption of a person and community-centred approach. During COVID, we've seen so much work within the communities, and we want to enhance that and carry on with the good work. What we're looking to do is change the relationship between the council and the community, look at what's working and what's right rather than what's wrong, and give support to local people to change things in their own communities and work with us to make them more sustainable.
Community Fridge is a waste reduction project where we take food that's perfectly good for human consumption and we redistribute it back into our local community. So that can come from our local co-op, who we initially set up with, so they give us food that has got to its use by date but it's perfectly edible, and also their fresh fruit and veg that's got to its display date. But we also now partner with our local spa, we partner with Morrison's, and we partner with some of the public houses and restaurants in town that they would like to give away free for the community. We kind of all got together and thought what would be a great thing to do for our community, and so that's what we came up with, so it's been going now for so that's over a year and a bit. So and in that time we've added a community freezer because that enables us to keep food better for longer, and we think we have at the year mark we have saved over 2 tonnes of food from going to landfill. The fridge and the freezer were supported, as I say, by our district councillors. They recognised that this was a really good project to get behind, and they enabled us to buy those. The church that I minister at, we pay for the electric, so it just gets plugged into one of our plugs. But we do find that people want to donate a little bit here and there for what they have from the fridge. It really isn't necessary, but for some people, they like to give back, and so we do have a little donations pot, but it's absolutely not necessary. It just sustains itself really, because the food comes in free, it goes out free, and it's not going to landfill, which is a great thing. Start small and see what happens, because we started just with our partnership with the local co-op, and we worked out what that meant, and we worked out how we were going to do it. But it's been really successful. But we did start with just them. As I say, now we partner with Morrison's as well, so the quantity coming in is a lot greater. But we worked out what the need was on the ground first and made sure we got a good volunteer base so that we could make it happen.
Malvern Town Football Club came into existence a long time ago, 1946. In 2013, Chris Binder took over the club with 4 key pillars that he wanted to abide by, which was community, pride, development and enjoyment. What we're creating now, which is the community support to the club, where we will be working in partnership with different organisations across the town. We've got some really good groups like the Mayan group, like the PCP group, which is good for information sharing. We're looking to try and build like women's football teams, super vets football team, a veterans football team, a walking football team, and we want to bring education here eventually. What we were looking at is to try and bring maybe an academy into action at Malvern Town Football Club, so that the local people in the community can come take on the education and hopefully improve their confidence and make them more employable. We do have some antisocial behaviours that go on. We do have unemployment. We do see alcohol and drugs misuse. So there are some challenges that are in the community, and the more the community can come together, the stronger we can help to deal with those types of situations, and the stronger the community is at the end of it. So we owe some thanks really to sponsors, local sponsors who've really wanted to come and get involved with the football club, because they've seen that we've got a different vision. We've got memberships that our fans take up, and to be fair, we get over 200 to each home game. And that brings in a steady income each time they come, and when the bar's open, you can imagine that would give a good income to the bar as well. The more belonging there is to a community asset like Malvern Town, the better the feeling is. I've noticed it over the years. We've got so much to be proud of, and we've got so many people who want to be a part of it, and it's just motivating everyone really.
Temporary Transport Trust was set up around about 2014 because there was a growing need for both car transport, car passenger transport, and also bus routes. We have a couple of main bus routes through the town, but obviously because we're a mainly rural area, the outlying villages needed to be brought into Tenbury Town. I think the positive thing, and all CT schemes would say the same, is that you personally get a great kick out of helping people and supporting them. And although we're here as Tenbury Transport Trust, our mission really is to maintain independence, to keep the social gatherings going. Obviously with COVID that's a little bit difficult, but up until then it was to bring people into the town who have no transport or have no way of getting into the town, and maintaining the friendships that they've had probably over 70 years. Tenbury Transport Trust, like all charities, is always in need of money, always in need of donations, that goes without saying. The upkeep of the buses, the upkeep of our office and our staff. We only have one paid member of staff. Everybody else is a volunteer, but we're very lucky because we're so well thought of in and around the area. We do get donations. I think researching what you want to do is the most important thing, to make sure you do actually have an audience or a customer base. Depending on what the charity is, it's important to get your councils on board. You also need to look out for some good funders. You know, whatever big organisations you've got in your area that would look to support you. But research is key, really. You really need to know why you're doing it and who you're doing it for and how much it's going to cost.
Adopt a Street scheme was set up late 2019, and it was set up because we, as the Community and Environmental Protection team, get lots of reports about all sorts of environmental crimes, litter being one. And people were reporting that litter was all over their local community and that they wanted to do something about it themselves. And they said to us, if we had the tools to do the job, we would pick it up. So Adopt a Street was born. When we first started it, we had a very small flow of people coming in. We were at about 30 Adopt a Street volunteers, and since March we're now at 256 and 30 organisations have signed up. So since lockdown, people have been going out and about, spending more time in their local area and seeing the issue and wanting to do something about it and signing up. So yeah, we've been absolutely inundated since the whole lockdown situation. The main challenge was trying to find the funding to buy the equipment. So we give each person a litter picker, a high vis, a pair of gloves and a roll of sacks. And it was, how do we fund that? And luckily for us, we had the support of my service managers and funded it for the first sort of 12 months. And hopefully going forward, we'll have a budget to buy equipment. The plans going forward that we have for Adopt a Street is obviously, one, to recruit more people and get more groups involved and make sure that the whole of the district is covered by at least 1 or 2 volunteers, so that the whole of the district has a volunteer in it. We also, when it's safe to do so, we'd like to join all of our Adopt a Street volunteers up together to do group litter picks. As a community, those people can get together, work together to clear an area.
It's a very scattered village. We are the sort of foothills of the Malvern Hills. It is a delightful place to live, but it is very scattered. It's just hamlets and farms. So the Sutley Good Neighbour scheme was a natural hub that would hopefully bring people together in different ways.
It was difficult getting people to know about the Sutley Good Neighbourhood scheme. So the post office in Sutley were very good at putting a link to us on their website, but we also felt that there was a big populace potentially that wouldn't have access to the internet. So we did a mail out to everybody in the village. It's there, it's like a security blanket for the villagers of all generations. They know it's there. Changing a light bulb, changing televisions when we went from analogue to digital. Lost pets, that's another thing that we've been called up to try and track down.
To begin with, there were a few setup costs because volunteers needed to have their security checking, their DBS check, and minimal expenses, but there were some. So the parish council came up with that. And then more recently, it was time we produced another village information pack. So here we've got one that we've just produced. If one needs a lot of money, say you're needing to restore a building or buying equipment or something, then it definitely helps to have a charity number. We haven't needed a bank account up until now because so little money has either come in or gone out.
Every single community will have different needs and different ways of responding to those needs.
In Welland, we're lucky. We have lots of small organisations that many use the village hall. There are rambling groups, there's bowling groups, there's dance groups. We have a very active preschool and a very active junior football club, and they were both looking to expand. The football club were looking to put a wooden pavilion on the playing fields, and the preschool were looking to make an extension to the village hall. And we all got together and we realised that we could get grant funding to build a purpose-built building, brick-built building, that the football club could use as a sports pavilion and the preschool could use as a daily school. And we got grant funding, and they've gone from strength to strength, both the preschool and the football club. So that's a great example of two groups coming together and working with a common aim. We have recently started, I think it was the end of 2018, working with a company called Live and Local, who will provide bands, acts at very good rates, and we are working with them. We have about 4 or 5 events every year. Obviously, the last year has been a little bit difficult because of lockdowns, but we've managed to put some events on, some in the local church, and more recently we've put them in the village hall when we needed a little bit more space for social distancing, and it's been a great success. Definitely go to the parish council. They have the ability to liaise with district and county councils. They have the ability to put organisations on the path to get grant funding. They will often have community newsletters. We put out 6 newsletters every year. So we're quite happy to do that and to support their endeavours. So yeah, contact your parish council.
We're a charity just established, really. We established in 2018. We work with schools primarily in music education, so we do a lot of music work. We work with the County Council on Arts Development, and we also have a festivals arm, which is part of a national project to regenerate the arches in Worcester.
Back in 2019, there was an opportunity for us to work with Arts Council and Space Hive for a crowdfunding platform, put in applications for a project that was going to bring music making to more children and young people across Worcestershire. And we know from our own engagement data that there are pockets, there are gaps where we don't reach young people, and that actually taking music out to where people are is a really good way to engage. So this was the reason why we thought about the Music Box project in the first place.
We were looking for something that would raise our profile as well, so raise the profile for the charity and also be eye-catching, and something like a music bus was quite attractive and appealing to a wide variety of people. We wanted to see what communities wanted as well and what young people were looking to achieve from their own music making.
So the fundraising campaign itself, we'd never done crowdfunding before as an organisation. It was new to us. We learned a lot from it, but also we made some great connections with other community organisations and other providers whilst we were going along the journey.
The main challenge is obviously getting out to communities and getting their interest and understanding what different communities want. Arts and music is not always high on the priority, but it's something that brings joy and opportunity for young people to engage in creativity, really. So we were trying to get out to the places that we don't normally working, and also to offer a sort of taster of what could be possible in terms of learning music, but also technology, composition, digital access, that kind of thing.
The Cubes actually had a really long history of having youth provision there. It was originally set up as actually a youth club, but it was taken over by the community, bought by the community and run. So there's lots of activities that go on there now. It's sort of intergenerational, but we run the youth arm of it. And it's been set up really to just provide safe spaces for young people, provide somewhere where they can have relationships with trusted adults, provide somewhere where they can learn new skills, meet new people, they can socialise safely. I think young people in any community face quite a lot of challenges because they're under a lot of pressure. I think in terms of responding to challenges, it's probably best to listen to what the young people say, because we have our opinions as adults as to what issues they're facing, but actually they're the ones that are facing them. So we've developed various ways that they can feed back to us. We've got an Instagram account so they can quickly type in what they're facing. We've got a youth forum, which means that once a month they meet, and they can, less so now because of the COVID restrictions, but they were meeting once a month face to face to tell us what they needed help with, what they needed support with. And they've also got a really good relationship with our youth workers. So if they have anything that comes up during a session or anything they want to raise, then they're able to feed back through that. We're very lucky in that we've just received, starting last September, we received a lottery grant which will take us forward over the next 5 years. And we're receiving Worcestershire Children's First money to carry out projects. So the lottery funding covers our core funding, and the Worcestershire Children's First money will cover projects. Ask the community what they want first, would be my main piece of advice. Look for funding sources. There's an awful lot out there. You've got to have people that are friendly and approachable and down to earth. So it is a lot to do with the personalities that are making the contacts within the communities.
The Octagon Centre has been in our community since 1995, and basically it's operated like a village hall. So people have come in and hired out our centre, but it wasn't really meeting the needs of the community because we didn't really know what the needs of the community were. So in 2018 we undertook a community consultation. We consulted with local people and with other local organisations. We came up with a consultation report and with a development plan. So from that we found out, people told us that the best things about the community were its friendliness, and that the worst things were crime and antisocial behaviour. The main challenges were debt and unemployment and disadvantaged young people and children. They wanted the priorities for our service to be activities for young people and social events. So we'd only been working on that for a short time, on implementing those things before COVID happened, and that brought up a whole new raft of issues which were mostly related to food poverty, which we'd not seen before to that extent. We raised money to run the building by hiring our centre out, and that brings in usually about enough revenue to cover the bills and the overheads. To run our project, we raise funds from charitable donations, so either from grants or from other small trusts giving us money. So we're actually really excited to relaunch our Thursday project whenever we're able to do that safely. And we really want that to be a hub for our community to be able to come to and develop skills and meet people who can help them increase their resilience and basically bounce back from COVID well.